Let me take you to my world a little bit, okay?
Okay,
can
I'm
I take
ready.
you to my world? Okay, my world is sitting at a microphone on the radio station, right? And part of my world includes my opinion on things, and sometimes people don't agree with me, Robin. So I've had an occasion here and there. I mean, it's pretty much okay. I mean, half and half. Some people agree, some people don't agree. But there have been days when, like, nobody agreed with me. It's like oh my gosh, am I just not making sense? What is wrong? Well, how come?
Oh my!
And you feel like the world just doesn't like you. You know? You ever have one of those days? Does it happen to women?
It happens to this woman. I can't speak for anybody else, but it does happen to me.
So one day I can remember doing this and just being bummed out and driving home and just, I don't know if I was feeling sorry for myself. If I was, then I will apologize to God when I get there. I should do it today, right? But anyway, so I get home, right? This is when my dog was alive. I get home, my dog is so happy to see me, and she loves me, and she can't wait to talk to me and tell me all that happened all day long with the cat and with the garbage man. And oh my gosh, you love me. At least there's one creature on this planet that loves me. How many people can relate to what I just said? Oh my gosh, whatever it is you do, you don't have to do a radio show. You've probably had those days, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I love the conversation we're about to have with Howard Burrage Jr. I hope I said his name right. He's a pastor at First Love Ministry in Chicago. He's got a book. What a beautiful cover. I have the cover on the podcast we're doing right now. It's called Dog Faith, Life in Comparisons to That of the Relationships Between the Dog and His Trust for His Master. I think this goes a little deeper maybe than just dog ownership, but what dogs teach us about faith. Oh my gosh, what a great topic. Pastor Howard Burrage Jr. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Great. How are you?
I'm okay. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, you did.
Are you in Chicago right now?
I'm in Richmond Park, Illinois. Yep, right now.
Oh, okay. And how many dogs do you own?
I have one dog.
One dog. Yeah. I think God gave us dogs so that we would know what unconditional love looks like, right?
Exactly.
So this is a wonderful way for you to teach about God. Am I right about what you're doing here? Because I don't have the book.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it's a wonderful way to teach about God, and God. God has a great sense of humor, and He showed me, like, through the eyes of a dog, how His unconditional love is toward His master, and how He wants us to be toward Him.
Yeah. You know, my dog loved me, but if somebody came to the door that she didn't know, oh my gosh, it was the wrath of dog. I don't know. Is God the same way? I mean, does God love unconditionally, but at the same time is very, very protective?
Yes, He is.
Yeah.
Yes, he has the unconditional love towards us. You know, that's why He gave His Son Jesus. You know, because the Bible said God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son.
Yeah.
He has the unconditional love, and He wants us to love us just like the dog loves his master. You know, it's an interesting story. On my way home from work, I tell it in the book. On my way home from work, it was like a beautiful day. It was like perfect. The weather was perfect. The wind was perfect, and I took the scenic route home because I work at night, but I got up in the morning, and I was able just to enjoy the weather. And as I got to the stoplight, I saw a dog sitting in his master's lap, and it looked like the dog was just like smiling and had a smile on his face. And God began to deal with me at that point, and I began to see through the eyes of the dog, and the dog said, as he was saying, "Look at me now. Look what God brought me from." Because of the humility, as you were talking about, the love that the dog showed unconditionally towards you. When you come home, no matter what kind of day you have, he always uplifts you. And the condition of the dog, the Lord took me back how, like a long years ago, how we used to have the dog house in the backyard.
Right.
And fed the dog the scraps and everything. Those days are all over with now because of the love that the dog showed towards the master. That now the dog eat the best food. You know what I mean? They got the best food. They live in the best condition. They have daycares. They have they go to beaches. They're in hotels. They're everywhere, and they haven't really spoken words. It was just the love that they shown. You know what I mean? And when they show that kind of love towards the master, they are rewarded. And God wants the same thing for us. If we show that unconditional love toward God, God's going to bless us the same way, no matter what condition that we are in.
Oh man, I love that. Do you know what else I notice about dogs? They don't care what color each other is. They don't care how old each other is.
Exactly.
They don't care if you live in a rich house or a poor house. They don't care. They just love each other or hate each other, one way or the other. they either want to sniff you or bite you, right?
But you know what the Lord was showing me about the dog. He sees what God created. He sees it. He's like, wow, these people are created in God's image. This is a wonderful thing. And we need to see ourselves like that too.
Yeah.
Just like through the eyes of a dog. His master don't judge you if you're a criminal, if you're not a criminal, like you said, of colors or whatever.
Yeah.
He has unconditional love for his master and just sees that part of him.
And they wait for you. I mean, I know I had a full-time job and I had children, but we still had our dog, and he would be home like 8 hours a day all by himself.
Poor puppy.
Yeah, and then when we came home, he was so happy, and we do, take him for walks and everything. So I hope, maybe they feel sad during the day, but then you wouldn't know it when you come home.
Yes, I know. They anticipate the arrival. They anticipate your arrival. They anticipate. They're hungry and thirst for your arrival because they're so excited to see you. And that's how God wants us to be toward Him. He wants us to anticipate His arrival. He wants us to be excited about Him. You know what I'm saying? So through the eyes of the dog, He said, "This is how I want you to love me with unconditional." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And anticipate me so that I can. So you don't mind being a blessing.
But it's hard. It's hard to have unconditional, even to God. I mean, when the parents, for example, of the children that were shot 2 weeks ago here in Florida, how many of them had the unconditional love you're talking about, and how many of them maybe have been angry at God? Maybe they still are. I mean, I'm not blaming God. I'm just saying human nature is to be angry.
Yes, human nature is to be angry. Human nature is, and also. God healed our wounds also. And this book talks about the healing process, how God heals also. It talks about how God's unconditional love comes and gives us the comfort that we need at that time. We don't understand everything that God does, but we, you know what I'm saying, but He has that way to heal us during the times of sorrow that we go through. We lose loved ones, and we know that God still has a better place for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because God He has a place where we go to heaven and we with Him eternally. That's how much God loves us. You know, that He has a place after this place where we go to.
Sometimes we do forget that God is there when we're joyful and everything seems to be going our way. But once things take a turn for the not so nice, and then people start hitting rock bottom, whatever it is that they're dealing with, then they turn back to God. How do we keep turning to Him even in good times?
The thing is, we're turning to Him in good times and bad times is to just be just like the dog did. We have to be like you were saying. We have to be consistently. Meditating on God every day. Make it part of our life, our lifestyle. You know what I mean? Make it part of who we are. And it'll be easier for us in the good times than the bad times for God to hear us through all of this, through the storm and through the rain. And I learned that as I go along because I have children also that have been through a whole, through various things. And I know the hurt that parents have when our children are going through things, but if we stick close to God, He healed all wounds. Yeah. And a lot of times we can just really depend on time to heal wounds, because the Bible do say that we will have times of sorrow. There will be times of joy.
It sure does.
in the midst of all of that, he's going to be there in all of those times. He'll never leave us, and he'll never forsake us.
Does the Bible say anywhere that God determines the flip of a coin?
I never read that.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you a story. Okay. Robin already knows the story. So, so this was a long time ago. I think it was 2002, maybe?
Yes.
2001. No, I think it was early 2001. 2001, because it was before the attacks in New York. Toward the end of 2000, I had a dog that died. She was like 14 or 15 years old, and it just broke my heart, okay? And it was like the beginning of December. So then January of 2001, yeah, I'm sure, I went into a Walgreens store, and there was a girl sitting outside with some puppies in a box. And she said, "Mister, would you like a puppy?" And I said, No, I can't have another dog. I can't have another dog. So I went into Walgreens. I could not stop thinking about those dogs. So I said to God, okay, I'm going to flip a coin. If it's heads, then it means you want me to have a dog. Okay? So I reach into my pocket, and guess what, Pastor? No change. I had nothing in my pocket. So I said, okay, God, I guess that means I don't get a dog. So I go to pay for the stuff. The lady gives me my change. I am not lying. A penny falls to the floor, just bounces off the counter, and starts spinning on the floor. And I'm staring at it, and everybody else is saying to themselves, probably, why don't you pick it up?
Yeah.
Well, I waited for it to stop on its own, and it landed with heads facing up. And long story short, I got the dog. And that dog lived for another 14 years or so, and then before she died. Yeah, but I just thought, well, God must have wanted me to have a dog, I guess. I had a dream.
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
God works in mysterious ways.
Sure does. So did he speak to you? I mean, did God, in a way, speak to you and say, there's a ministry using a dog as a way to tell about me? Did that happen?
Yes, it did. It did happen.
Tell me.
Because the book, it talks about the comparison of my life, the dog's life, and also a Bible character in the Bible called the Canaanite woman, whom Jesus called a dog. So the book it talks about our career lives, how God takes us from our lows, the lowest points of our lives, and turns them upside down and blesses us. So yeah, he used the dog. He used the dog to show the comparison to my life and the character in the Bible, the Canaanite woman life. And he used my life because I was on drugs and alcohol, and my life was spiraling out of control.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in a bad state, and I didn't see no hope. I didn't know how to get to God. I didn't really know that God could deliver. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I didn't have all the tools to know that I could get to God and my life could change, because I thought that, hey, this is it for me. This is my life, and this is how it's gonna be, and this is the culture that I live in, and so I just might as well accept it because there's nothing else that I can do, and that's why I talked about how much God's unconditional love can transform lives like He transformed my life.
Your book, I found it on Amazon, and in the dedication it says, "In loving memory of Pastor Bobby Coleman Sr." Who's that?
Now, that was the pastor that the Lord showed me in a vision to go to pray for me. Man, I mean, it was like one night I was doing so many drugs. I did PCP, I did cocaine, I did heroin, I was drinking everything. That night I did everything under the sun that night.
God.
And I was at death's door, literally at death's door. And as I ran home and I was looking for help, and didn't nobody know how to help me. And when I went upstairs to lay down in my bed, it felt like my heart was getting ready to jump out my chest. And then all of a sudden, a vision of a man popped in my head, just like you talked about the coin.
Uh-huh.
God works in mysterious ways. He showed me, when I talk about this, it seemed just like yesterday. So just forgive me if and when he showed me his face, he told me to go to this man. And now I was caught between, I was wrestling between my flesh and my spirit. And they said, well, this man is not gonna help you. He don't have time for you. You're nothing. You'll never be nothing. I was dealing with two conflicting stories in my head, fighting against my soul, and two spirits fighting against it. I said, well, I don't want to die like this. And so I went and I found him. At this time, I was working for him, so I only knew him as Mr. Coleman. And I knew he was a pastor, and so he said, well, I'll meet you at the church. And so when I went to his church early that morning, he met me down there, and he asked me a simple question. He said, son, are you saved? And, I said, yes, I am. And he said, well, because I thought I was, And he said, I'm going to have to tell you the truth, son. No, you're not. Then that was like a real eye-opener for me right there. I said, I'm not? He said, no. He said, but do you want to be? And when he said, I said, yes. And I surrendered and I humbled myself. And when he laid his hand on my head, I felt the raw power of God.
Wow.
Washed my body. Every drug that I took the night before was instantly gone, and I was sober. My eyes were open. I was sober, and the power. I felt a warm feeling, just like rent. It felt like a wrench, a soul wrench, and I've never been the same after that. Never looked back.
That's
Never or anything. I felt it. I felt the raw power of God, and that's how God is moved. That's how God is moved for the dog also.
That's an amazing story.
Transformed his life.
Wow, you're a very philosophical man, and I think that philosophical gift that God gave you is what helps you communicate to us.
Yeah, and I like to. I just wanted to share this book with the world and let them know that whatever situation they're going in, no matter how low the state they're in or whatever they're going through, and just like we talked about the shootings and the 17 children that got shot, God is there for them to heal them and give them the comfort that they need to get through these trying times, So I just wanted to get that message out through this book, Dog Face.
Wow. I found the book on Amazon. I want the listeners to know that it's available as a Kindle book. Is it available in print as of this time?
I got to order more. I sold out, but they can't get them if they we have a website page. If they email me, I'll get the books to them.
What is the address?
Burrage at gmail.com.
Oh, your name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Howard, Burrage at gmail.com?
Yeah, at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since there seems to be a decrease in church attendance by the younger generations, and churches are closing all over the world, how do they have epiphanies or revelations that would be able to draw them to God and maybe attend a church?
But just like I have written in the book, a lot of times with the younger generations, we look for the younger generations to work out their own problems. But that's why God gives us parents. And in the book, we talked about the Canaanite woman whose daughter was vexed with the devil. That means that she was incapable of bringing herself to the church. And so the mother interceding and praying for the daughter. And here's the thing, though. A lot of times we want to take our children to church, but we don't want to submit ourselves to the will of God. Mm-hmm. The first thing that the Canaanite woman did was submitted herself to Jesus. And when she did that, she was able to pray for her daughter. You see what I'm saying? And then her deliverance came. Then the daughter's deliverance came through the parent after the parent got their deliverance. It's sort of like a lot of times parents want they want to say, "Do as I say, but not as I do." Mm-hmm. But the way it works, you have to do as you do. If they go and they lay before God, God is so merciful that the power of God will flow through them and affect their children. So a lot of times we have to yield ourselves over to the will of God. And when we yield ourselves over to the will of God, then our deliverance of our children will come, just like it did in the story when we talked about the Canaanite one.
Mm-hmm. Howard Burrage, you've impressed us with a very short interview, and I'm sure you're going to impress us with the book. The book is called Dog Faith. Howard's website is howardburragejr.com. I just went to the website. Is the church that you are pastor at New Calvary? Is that right?
No. The church is the First Love Ministry. Howard Burrage is the First Love Ministry.
Oh, okay. On your website, you can buy the book, I think, right? I'm looking on here. I'm trying to see if I can.
Yeah, you can order the book on the website, yeah.
Okay, I see it. So to go to the website, go to Amazon to get the Kindle version, and you're getting good reviews. Everybody's giving you a 5-star review. That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. The book is out there. And I just need everybody to please write a review in there, because I got all the books out. I just want them to get the reviews in there.
And you've had great support from your wife, which is very important.
Awesome. She's so wonderful. And that's what I mean about NSC. She prayed me, and my wife, she never gave up on me through the times, through our marriage. And we were separated for a moment. God put that back together through prayer, So I'm a strong believer in prayer, and prayer changes things. I'm a living testimony.
Yes, you are. You are a living testimony. It's an honor to meet somebody who has been completely healed by God. That is so cool. So cool. Howard Burrage, Burrage, howardburragejr.com is the website. The book, again, is called Dog Faith, Life in Comparisons to That of the Relations Between the Dog and His Trust for His Master. What a great way to, a great theme, I guess, for a ministry. Pastor Howard Burrage, thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
I am. So it's my pleasure. I'm humbled by you guys. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we will be right back.
Whether it's a car accident, storm damage, or a fire, when the unthinkable happens, it doesn't happen if you saved money in 15 minutes. In this moment, it doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what happens is that your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them have you covered. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit George Mangan Insurance in Ocala today at manganinsurance.com.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. A big sporting goods chain responds to the school shooting in Florida by taking some guns off its shelves.